Hey everyone, this is Ryder from Skip. I hope you're doing well. It's Saturday, August 8th. I hope you're having a good weekend. I have a very quick update on breaking news. President Trump just signed 4 executive orders. These are the 4 executive orders he talked about yesterday, and he said he was going to sign if Democrats and Republicans weren't able to reach a deal, and they weren't. So he just signed 4 executive orders, and it just ended seconds ago. I'm going to talk about those 4 orders he just signed and some of the questions that still remain. Are they legal? He answered the question about the amount of unemployment insurance. So let's dive in. As always, thanks so much for supporting our channel and subscribing. And so many of you have written us directly, not only leaving comments, but writing us to show your support and gratitude for our coverage of this. And we just want to say, on behalf of all of us, thanks so much. You know, I've mentioned before, but we have a whole team at helloskip.com building out services, of course, helping with DMV related stuff, but also a huge amount of effort has been put towards COVID-19 resources. Anyway, just wanted to point that out. Our YouTube videos we love doing, but it's a small part of everything we're doing to try to help people and to try to make it easier for you to get critical government information and critical government services. That's our mission. Trump just signed the 4 orders, and I'm going to cut to the chase and talk about the extra unemployment insurance. $400 per week is what he said. That's more than the $200 that Republicans had originally asked for, and that's less than the $600 that was already being distributed and that Democrats wanted. So good news, bad news, it is less than a lot of people hoped for. Now, here's what he said about that $400 in expanded unemployment benefits. He said states will have to pay 25% of that. And when he was questioned by a reporter just now about did states agree to this or not, he said, well, no, not really, but states are going to want to agree to it. And that's frankly a lot of the questioning he just got from reporters. Number 1, is this legal? Number 2, did states agree to this? Number 3, when are people going to get these benefits in their hands? I'm going to talk about that in a minute because some of the questions that were thrown at him at the end were pretty tough, and it does raise the question of, okay, but what's next? And is the stimulus deal still on the table? All right, so 75% of the expanded unemployment benefits will be paid by the federal government. I assume he thinks that that can be paid for by reallocating some of the stimulus funding that hasn't been spent already. He remarked yesterday, a lot still hasn't been spent. So that's some of the thinking. Maybe he thinks that he can shift around some of that money and use it to pay for the expanded unemployment benefits. Again, this is 10% of the country, over 10% of the country is on unemployment right now, trying to figure out how they're going to pay their mortgage next month. And if they've deferred payments, and 30% of U.S. renters have deferred payments, they're going to have to catch up on those payments eventually. Okay, the second thing he did was the payroll tax cut, so no payroll taxes through the end of this year. The third, and one of the most important, is the eviction protection. He's talked with HHS and the CDC to protect people from eviction. And the fourth is on student loans. You will be able to continue to defer student loans. Okay, those are the 4 executive orders. He did talk about additional orders that they were thinking about, and these included no tax on capital gains, which had been floated before, and lowering of income taxes. And he said this would help middle to income people, but that would be a big one. Again, so much of this is unilateral action, which is setting a precedent that is very odd, that is bypassing Congress. And of course, many people disagree with this, challenge the legality. Can he actually do this? I'd love to hear in the comments. There was a great dialogue yesterday after I posted the update on what Trump said. If you're for these executive orders or against them, or if you're just frustrated that a stimulus deal hasn't been reached. Because like I said yesterday, this is not a good deal, right? Trump sees this as some last resort, maybe some leverage to push Democrats and Republicans to work together. He did say when he was asked by reporters if a stimulus is still on the table, he said yes, they're still negotiating. So what he did today wouldn't preclude the deal. The other tough question is when this would get in people's hands. I mean, a lot of these are cuts that aren't going to give people money, like the stimulus checks, $1,200 stimulus checks. All of you need, all of us need, the entire country needs them. It'll help consumer spending. It'll help you pay rent. It'll help with basics. it'll help avoid an economic crisis. And when Trump was asked just now when this was going to get to people, he pointed to the pieces of paper he just signed. There it is, right there, which is interesting because that's just a piece of paper. The whole point is everyone around the country, we want to see something. And of course, none of this is giving us extra money in our pockets besides the unemployment boost. But when's that going to come into effect, right? Is that going to be a month from now, 2 months from now? We'll see. And if we find out more information, especially because the unemployment is at the state level, we'll let you know, of course, as we always do. But that's the latest. I wanted to share it quickly on Saturday afternoon. He just did this press conference from his golf course in New Jersey, and he just signed the executive orders here. And I'd love to hear your reactions and how you're feeling about this in general. I know it's been an ongoing, frustrating saga for so many of you, and I so appreciate, as always, you staying up to date and watching our videos. Thanks, as always, for subscribing. Please stay well, stay healthy, and have a good rest of the weekend. Thanks.